guys and ghouls, what's going on? Dr. Gonzo, Boogie here again, back for another October video, and actually all month long I plan on posting up videos where I show you guys some of my favorite parts of my entire horror movie collection. And so far I did two videos. I did a video where I posted up my entire Friday the 13th collection and my entire Alien collection. So if any of you guys missed those videos, definitely go and check those out. I had a ton of awesome stuff to show in those videos, and I have even more awesome stuff to show you guys in this video. And of course, this is going to be my Dario Argento collection. And actually, I've been wanting to do a Dario Argento collection video for a really long time. It's probably been like 2 years or more since I did any sort of Dario Argento Italian horror collection. So I'm really glad to finally be getting around to this, because not only is Dario Argento one of my favorite directors, but actually some of my favorite Blu-rays and DVDs in my entire horror collection happen to be Dario Argento films. So I'm extremely excited to show you guys some of this stuff, because a lot of the stuff in this video is some of my prized possessions in my entire horror collection. So I have a lot to show here. I'm not going to waste any more time, and like always, I'm going to start off with the Blu-rays, but I also have some DVDs to show you guys, a few VHS tapes, and at the end of this video I have a couple CDs to show you guys too that are related to Dario Argento. So let me just get started here on the Blu-rays, and first off here I'm going to show you guys some of my Dario Argento steelbooks, which I have two of the Arrow video releases of some of Argento's films, the steelbooks, and I have the Synapse release, the Tenebrae. And these are just some of my favorite Blu-rays in my entire collection. I love steelbooks, and I love weird horror movies, so steelbooks of weird horror movies are probably some of my favorite things to collect on Blu-ray right now. So let me just show you guys what I got here. So first off here is the awesome 3-disc release of Tenebrae from Synapse Films. I actually ordered this one on their site probably the week they put it out. I was so excited about this, and this is probably my favorite steelbook in my entire steelbook collection, and I have a huge steelbook collection now, and one of these days I will get around to doing a video where I show you guys all my steelbooks, but that'll be a long video. But this release is so awesome. It comes with the Blu-ray release of the film, of course. It also comes with the DVD and the soundtrack for the movie, which the soundtrack for this movie is just awesome. So glad to get this. There's some awesome special features on here, and of course the transfer of the film on this is just amazing. Just such a cool release here for such an awesome Dario Argento movie. Alright, so let's move on here to the Arrow Video Steelbooks. First off here is the Tenebrae release that Arrow Video put out. And again, this is one of my all-time favorite steelbooks in my collection, and just one of my favorite Blu-rays in my entire collection. Just such a cool release here. Love how they used the original movie poster on the cover. And just great stuff here. One of my favorite Arrow Video releases too. This is a Region 2 release, or Region B. Just awesome, awesome stuff here. Love the artwork there. Alright, and I have another one of Arrow Video Steelbooks for Dario Argento, and this is probably for one of my favorite out of Argento's films, and this is Phenomena with Donald Pleasance and Jennifer Connelly. Both of them are in this movie, and this is just an awesome movie. This is my favorite out of Dario Argento's 80s films, followed closely by Tenebrae. But something about this movie, the music and the everything about this movie, I just think is awesome. Just one of my favorite Argento movies and one of my favorite 80s horror movies, and just a beautiful looking steelbook. I'll show you guys the artwork on the back of this one too. Really cool stuff there. Alright, and actually before I move on to the rest of the the rest of the Blu-rays that I have to show you guys, I actually have one more steelbook. This is actually a steelbook DVD release. This is actually the only steelbook I have in my DVD collection, and this is a Anchor Bay release, and this is a Dario Argento box set sort of thing. Picked this up used at FYE probably for like 20 bucks, and this is a really hard to find set. I've seen this going on eBay for like $50. So really glad I was able to pick this up for a good price. And this comes with 5 of Dario Argento's films. Comes with a few of them that I don't have separate releases of, so I'm happy to have those on this box set. But it comes with Tenebrae and Phenomena, so I'm really happy to have like the remastered DVD releases of those, because in my DVD collection, which I'll be showing you guys in a little bit, I actually have older releases of Tenebrae and Phenomena on DVD, so it's cool to have newer releases in this set, because I didn't have those releases separately, which I'll show you guys on the back. These are the discs in the set, are the discs from these releases here. So you got Tenebrae, Phenomena, Trauma, Do You Like Hitchcock, and The Card Player. All the films on here are pretty good, but the ones from the 80s, Tenebrae and Phenomena, are a lot better than the like 90s and 90s Argento films on here, even though those ones are good too. Just a really, really awesome steelbook set here. One of my favorite Anchor Bay releases in my collection, and I have a ton of awesome Anchor Bay releases to show you guys in just a second, but I want to finish off the Blu-ray collection before I start on that. I have a couple Argento films, just regular on Blu-ray, not steelbooks. First up here is the Arrow video release of Inferno. This is one of the newer Arrow UK releases of this film. And again, this is a Region B or Region 2 release. Just awesome artwork on this too, and I really want to get some of the other Arrow Video UK releases of Argento's films like this. I know there's a copy of Tenebrae and Phenomena that are like this too, so I would really like to pick those up for my collection one of these days. Alright, then next up I actually have the Synapse releases of the 2 Demons films, which weren't directed by Dario Argento. They were directed by Lamberto Bava, who just happens to be the son of Mario Bava, who is the king of Italian horror films. But these movies are great. Some of my favorite 80s horror movies, and some of my favorite Italian horror movies too. Actually, if you guys are trying to get into Italian horror movies, I think the Demons films are probably the 2 best movies to start with, if you don't start with Suspiria, which was the first Italian horror movie I ever saw. But let me show you guys these. These, like I said, are Synapse releases, and I really love Synapse films. They put out some great Blu-ray releases. Actually, they put out this steelbook of Tenebrae, but they also just put out a regular DVD and Blu-ray release of Tenebrae, and I plan on picking up the regular 1-disc version of Tenebrae. It's an awesome looking Blu-ray, so I'd love to add that to my collection, even though I already have a few Blu-ray copies of Tenebrae. I would still like to add that to my collection. So this is Demons. Great stuff here. Fun movie, and Demons 2, which is equally just as much fun. And both of these movies have great soundtracks with like heavy metal and punk rock songs from the 80s. And there's also, I think, some Goblin music on these movies too. Just really great soundtracks on both of these movies. For great soundtracks for awesome movies there. Would highly recommend those ones. Alright, so next up I'm going to start digging into the DVDs, and to start off here is one of the earlier Argento films I have in my collection, and this is The Bird with the Crystal Plumage. I actually still haven't gotten around to seeing this one. I think that this is one of Dario Argento's earliest giallos, and it sounds like an awesome film, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet. This is actually one of the only Argento films in my collection that I have never seen. Alright, and then next up I have a ton of Anchor Bay releases, so let's start going through these. This is the 3-disc awesome box set, limited edition release of Dario Argento Suspiria, which Suspiria is probably my favorite Argento film. It changes on a daily basis from this to Phenomena to Tenebrae. I just love all 3 of those movies so much. But this has to be his masterpiece. Like, it everything that Dario Argento is famous for or known for in the horror community is very present in this movie. The lighting he does, the very graphic and over-the-top kills, the very colorful lighting he uses in his movies, and all that stuff, the great creepy music. It's all in this movie, and this is just one of his best. And this is an awesome box set put out by Anchor Bay. And so glad to have this in my collection. Actually, years ago when I first started to collect weirder horror movies on DVD, and I first started getting into Anchor Bay releases, this is what I thought was the best Anchor Bay release out there. And to this day, it's still one of my favorite Anchor Bay releases, and still one of my favorite DVDs in my entire collection. This comes with a really awesome booklet here. It comes with a few booklets. I don't want to take them out. And it comes with a bonus disc, I think, and the soundtrack for the movie, which, again, the soundtrack for this movie is done by Goblin. And this, along with their Deep Red soundtrack, are probably two of their best soundtracks out there. Great stuff here. Alright, so next up here is Deep Red from Dario Argento. And actually, the intro to all of my videos uses scenes and music from this movie. So if you guys didn't know what the movie my intro video is from, it's from Deep Red from Dario Argento. This one actually came out before Suspiria. Really awesome movie here. This is a really fun, really creepy, and really well done giallo. I would say, again, one of Argento's best films right here. There's a really cool Anchor Bay release of this. Awesome artwork there. Next up is Inferno, somewhat of a sequel to Suspiria. I wouldn't really say a sequel, but it's part of the same trilogy of films Suspiria is in. This is a really good one. This was his follow-up to Suspiria. It came out right after Suspiria came out, and it has it's just as well of a made film, but I don't think it is as iconic as Suspiria. It doesn't have as many iconic scenes in it, and it's not as memorable in my opinion, but I still do think Inferno is a really good Dario Argento film. Really awesome Anchor Bay release here. Next up here, Tenebrae. Like I said, one of my all-time favorite Dario Argento films. Love the movie poster for this film, so anytime I see a release of this movie with the movie poster on it, I just feel like I need to buy it. Just such a cool poster here. I would love to actually get a poster of that one day. Cool stuff there. And of course, we have Phenomena next. Which again, one of my all-time favorite Argento films. Just great stuff here. This is an older Anchor Bay DVD release again that uses the original movie poster as the cover. This has a pretty cool insert in it too, along with the Tenebrae release of a reproduction of the original movie poster too, which Anchor Bay did a great job of that early on, doing awesome mini reproductions of the movie posters as the insert. Always love when I get an Anchor Bay edition that comes with the insert. It's like similar to getting a Scream Factory edition with the slipcover. Alright, and then last up for the Anchor Bay releases of Dario Argento's films that he directed is Opera, which again, this is another one of my favorite films from him. This came out in the 80s. This might have been his last 80s film. And this is just an awesome film. It's somewhat kind of a Phantom of the Opera movie, but at the same time, not really. It's its own thing. It just takes place at an opera house like Phantom of the Opera does, and it has a similar story and stuff like that. But really, it's its own film and just another great Dario Argento film. One of his best. Alright, but I have some other cool releases of some Argento films. This is the Stendhal Syndrome. I think that's how you pronounce that. And this is a film he put out in the late 90s, I think. And this has his daughter, Asia Argento, as the main actress in the movie, which is pretty cool. And it's been a while since I've seen this one, but I remember it was pretty good, actually, for a 90s Argento film. This one was pretty good. Then next up here is actually Phantom of the Opera from Dario Argento, and I think I tried getting through this one day, and I ended up falling asleep watching it. Not that it was boring or anything like that, I just think I was watching it really late at night, and I never got around to checking it out again, so I think this is another Argento film in my collection that I've never seen all the way through, which some of his films like Suspiria and Phenomena, I've seen those movies like 10 times each, but I just never gotten around to really watching this one. Really good. Cool stuff here. There's a nice release. This is just by some random company. Actually, this, I don't think I mentioned it, but this Stendhal Syndrome release is a Blue Underground 2-disc DVD. Really nice release here. I found this at like a thrift store for like $3. Alright, and then next up here I have some Argento DVDs that aren't films directed by him but related to him. And I already showed these ones off on Blu-ray, and of course I'm talking about the Demons films. This is an awesome 2-pack that Anchor Bay put out. This is actually part of the Dario Argento collection. They put out 3 of these 2-packs, and this is volume 2 out of the 3 2-packs they put out, and I'm trying to remember what the other films on the 2-packs were, but you know, you guys can check that. I'm pretty sure one of them had like, I think I had one of the other packs and it had like Deep Red and Tenebrae on it, so they're just kind of random, like random Argento packs, but awesome stuff. But this is really cool. Can't go wrong with having like a double feature of both of these, because these movies, the plots and everything are very similar, so these are great movies to watch back to back, actually, both of the Demons films. And then last for the DVDs is the Dario Argento cut of Dawn of the Dead, or known as Zombie, as it was released internationally. And actually, I just watched the Dawn of the Dead documentary recently, and I was surprised at how much Dario Argento actually had to do with the production of Dawn of the Dead in general. Not only did he do some of the music for the movie, he did the well-known Goblin music, which is in the European cut of the movie a lot more than it is in the U.S. cut of the movie. But he actually helped George Romero get that movie made, and he helped George Romero write the script. I think George Romero and his wife or whatever flew down to Rome and were living with Argento while Romero wrote the script, and it would get translated to Argento. Argento would read it, and he would throw back some of his ideas, but mainly he was just I think he's listed as like the script consultant or something like that if you watch the credits for the movie. But Argento had a lot to do with just the making of Dawn of the Dead in general. I think if it wasn't for Argento, the film wouldn't have had as big of a budget as he had, because he was like behind it, getting financed and getting it made, and also it wouldn't have gotten released in like internationally, which the European cut of the movie that Argento put out became its own movie series, where this was the first in the series, and then Lucio Fulci's Zombie was the second in the series, and then there's a bunch of other ones. So this movie became a big hit over there, and it also became a big hit over here too. And this is Dawn of the Dead is one of my all-time favorite movies, but I'm talking about Argento here. Actually, I plan on doing a George Romero video really soon, so I don't want to get off track too much here, but just an awesome movie, and I thought it was really interesting and cool to see how much Argento helped out on making this movie. So just really cool stuff here. And again, this is the European cut of the movie, and it's a little bit shorter than the U.S. cut. Argento cut out a lot of there's a pie scene where the bikers are pieing all the zombies in the face. He cut that out, and he cut out a few other scenes, and like I said, he added in more of the Goblin music, but just a really interesting cut of the movie, and if you're a big fan of Dawn of the Dead and seen it a bajillion times like I have, it's cool to watch like a different version of it. So that was it for the DVDs, actually, but I have a few VHS tapes here. First off, I'll start off with this Anchor Bay tape here of Phenomena. Just another copy of Phenomena in my collection. And this is a cool tape. I love these older Anchor Bay tapes and the clamshells like this. And again, I really like how This used the original movie poster, just like the DVD release did. And I have a couple of copies of Suspiria on tape. First off here is a release from Quality Video. I'll have to watch this and see how well the quality actually is on this, but this is a cool release of this. Just kind of a basic VHS tape, nothing too special about the artwork or anything here. But either way, still a cool looking tape, and I'm glad to have it in my collection. But I also have another copy of Suspiria on tape, and this is from some Windstar company, something like that. But cool release here too. Kind of like the artwork on here. It's real cheesy looking. I mean, this is kind of what you expect from like a cheesy VHS tape cover. So I kind of like that for some reason. Cool pictures there on the back too. Awesome stuff here. And last for this video, I'm going to show you guys two CDs that I have related to Dario Argento and their soundtracks for some of his movies. First off here is both of these are like Italian CD releases, so these are like imports. I actually bought one of these at a record store, and I ordered the other one off the computer. This is the one that I bought at the record store, and this is the soundtrack for Phenomena. This is kind of a hard-to-find edition of the soundtrack because it doesn't just include the music from the members of Goblin, but it includes some of the Iron Maiden and Motorhead music that was also played in the soundtrack. So this one is a little bit harder to find than the soundtrack that just has the music from the members of Goblin on it. So really glad I was able to find this one. And this is the one I ordered off the computer, and this is kind of like a sort of like a 2-pack here. It comes with some of the songs from the Zombie soundtrack and some of the songs from the Tenebrae soundtrack. So really cool stuff here. It's all on one disc. It's not split up or anything like that. But the first like 6 songs I think are from Zombie or Dawn of the Dead, and the last songs are from Tenebrae. So really glad to pick this one up. Actually, when I bought this CD, I didn't have the Synapse steelbook with the soundtrack on it yet. But again, one of the main reasons I picked this up was for the Zombie soundtrack, which is probably my favorite soundtrack by Goblin. It's the soundtrack that got me into them as a band. So really cool stuff there. And of course, like always, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, definitely give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, or subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.